you do when your photography just stops being good? Have you ever felt stuck, frustrated, and unsure how to move forward? That's how I've been feeling recently, so let's change that together, starting today. Let's go. Before we get going today, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a domain name, a website, or an online store, go to squarespace.com or hit the link down below. I bet if you think about your own photography right now, there's at least 3 to 4 photos that will immediately jump into your head or stand out as being really good. Once you've been taking pictures for a few years, you know from time to time you're gonna get something that you really love, and it also resonates with the people around you. When these bangers happen, it's exciting, and photography is clearly the best thing in the world. The problem is, you now know how this feels, and almost certainly the next picture you make will not be a banger or even averagely good. And then the next photo comes, and the next one, and the next one. We're trying hard to make good photos, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. We start to get frustrated, and before you know it, you suck at photography. Honestly, can't tell you how many times I've been through this, and if we're not careful, it can easily kill our motivation and passion for photography. There's 2 key points here though. Firstly, it's not easy being creative, and for the vast majority of people, creativity is not linear. It comes in waves. There's going to be times when we feel utterly inspired and go out and make something unbelievable, but there'll also be other times when nothing comes easy. This is natural, it's important to recognise, and just know that when you're stuck in a rut, things will turn around again. You're better than you think you are. Just go out, take more pictures, fall back on your skill and experience, and soon you'll find you're more than capable of making good photos. And also, that next banger is just around the corner. The second point is that our perception of our own work is not always accurate, so we become our own biggest critic. About 18 months ago, I went out on this shoot here with 2 of my good friends, Verity Milligan and Mally Davis. It was a very fun day, but the weather was a bit miserable until right at the end, when the sun came out and gave us this magical moment.
But look at it. Oh, there. That's it.
The light!
Oh, what a tree! What a beautiful tree! Oh my goodness!
Alright,
It's
your
just-
enthusiasm wins.
It's just so
I'm in.
simple.
I'm
Look,
in.
look at that! Look at the light flying out! Oh my goodness! Like that crescendo, that like I've been calling it confetti, haven't I? Oh, that's gorgeous.
But I like
Yeah.
the way that this is kind of rustic and brown.
But they're connecting. They're almost shaking hands. Like it's reaching in.
I was too focused on filming the video that I actually forgot to shoot any photos. So 1 week later, I went back and was welcomed with some of the most stunning autumn photography conditions I have ever seen. I revisited Mally's tree to get my shot. The conditions were epic, the light was insane. I was excited about it as I captured the photo. But in the moment, I fell back on my experience and also grabbed a little shot behind me of this scene here. When I got back to the car, I was pretty sure that Mally's tree was a banger, so I printed it out there and then. I still like this photo, but when I put the video out, almost universally, everyone preferred the second shot, this one here. This was quite surprising at first, but do you know what? They are absolutely right. I actually think it's a good thing to get emotionally caught up in our work, but it can shift our perception and judgments. On the one hand, stay humble, but on the other hand, remember it's all too easy to let the negative emotions and creative anxiety creep in, so we convince ourselves that we suck. And the truth is, almost certainly, you are better than you think you are. Part of the reason for making this video was when I thought about last year. Creatively, it was a tough year for me. I nearly shut this channel down. I wasn't happy with the direction of my business. But after sorting through all that, I still didn't feel great about my photography. Now, almost always, the cure for this is to look back on what you've actually achieved. So I fired up Lightroom. I also thought about what Ansel Adams said, that 12 significant photographs in any one year is a good crop. And I was happy to find that I had 14 photographs that I really love, plus 2 or 3 of them that I think are bangers. The year started with this shoot with Henry Turner. The snowy and wintry conditions were out of this world, and I made this picture here that I think absolutely captures the mood of the moment with that winter wonderland feel. This day with Mali in the Lake District was special, very windy but very beautiful, and the print now sits proudly above my fireplace in a frame that I crafted myself from scratch. I turned this stunning sunset moment into a panorama that I then printed out to be 3.5 meters long when I visited Canon in Birmingham. It's a special thing. The point is, it's all too easy to just focus on the things that didn't go well, and in the process, forget about all the good stuff. I find it really hard actually to celebrate my own successes, but now and again, it probably is important to at least acknowledge them. Look back on the pictures you made last year, and I bet with at least a few of them, you will think, actually, I'm not too bad at this photography thing. It has now been exactly 100 days since I last posted to social media. I made a video about this a couple of months ago, and it really seemed to resonate because the algorithms run by Instagram and Twitter do not have your best interests in mind. And I'd even go so far as to call them evil. I'm not going to rehash everything from that video, but another downside of social media is the constant stream of non-stop pictures and videos. And as we know, comparison is the thief of joy. And as everyone on social media shows themselves to be living their best life, if you're on there all the time, it can really start to warp reality. Not to mention getting sucked in to pointless debates that achieve nothing. What I can report after 100 days though is the enormous weight that's come off my shoulders. But what I also did was turn off every notification on my phone, and it sent my productivity through the roof. What it made me realise is that social media is an enormous waste of time, and I'm now living as a smug person, trendily saying that they're off social media. One thing I've done so far with the extra time that I now have is to build a patron system on my website that includes a brilliant old school forum. It's much more social than social media, with some great discussions going on. And then just the other night, we did an online meetup and I ran a critique session where it was an absolute pleasure to look at some of the lovely photography from members, and even better to hear them talking about it. This is how I want to experience photography online into the future, rather than the firestorm of self-promotion that kills my photography buzz. If you want to join the next one and support the channel, hit the link down below to become a patron, or go to firstmanphotography.com. Becoming a pro photographer took some time, but about 2 years before I left my old job, I knew I was going to make it happen and went down to 4 days a week to put the extra day into my photography. This was a fantastic time, and I was so excited about my photography side hustle that I no longer worried in the slightest about my performance at work. But rather than this reducing my performance, my last couple of years in the police were the most productive of my career because I was just so cool about it all and not worried in the slightest. Unfortunately, I've not been able to carry that level of cool over to my photography career until, that is, I think, much more recently. The point is we're not going to be at our creative best making great pictures if we are constantly worrying about what other people think, or how much exposure we're getting on social media, or how many likes or views we get, or how many people know about us, or how many companies we're working with. Over the last 7 years of being a full-time photographer, one big lesson I've learned is that there are no big breaks. Just in the last couple of years, I've been sponsored by Canon. My book was featured in a national newspaper. My work has been on TV several times. I've spoken on several big stages, and I had my own studio. All things in the past I would have believed were big breaks or something a successful photographer would do. The thing is, although it's all been nice, it really isn't fulfilling. and the notoriety is pretty meaningless. I don't need more. What I love doing is making pictures, sharing these videos, and interacting with you. And really, that's all I need. I need to get back to what made me a good photographer in the first place and built this YouTube channel, going out repeatedly with my camera, enjoying the journey, working hard, and accumulating lots of small successes that build into a satisfying and meaningful body of work. And then once you've done that, you might want somewhere to share that work. And as you know, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. And in my opinion, Squarespace is simply the best place for photographers to build their own website. The main reason for this is it's just so easy to use. You just go to squarespace.com, type in what you want to do, choose a template, add some of your own words and a few pictures, and before you know it, you will have a unique and beautiful looking website. It's now even easier to do as well because Squarespace has introduced some AI tools with Squarespace Design Intelligence. You can easily create a custom template and the AI will assist you with the copy, like crafting video or product descriptions. It's incredibly powerful and allows you to focus on the things that matter most to you. Squarespace will also grow with you. If you want to convert your website into an online store to start selling your prints or books or workshops or calendars or mugs, whatever takes your fancy, you can do that just as easily. I've been using Squarespace for many, many years, and I only wish I had discovered them earlier. The entire process is seamless, and if you run into trouble, they also have award-winning customer service. So go to squarespace.com or visit the link down below and start a free trial today. And then once you've set yourself up and are happy with what you've created, use the offer code FIRSTMAN and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. It's just a much better way to share your work with the world. When the creative roller coaster takes you into the troughs, one of the best things you can do is to simply stop trying to be artistic and do something technical instead. This can still be productive and is often a lot of fun too. You could try a more technical genre of photography like shooting water drops. I have a masterclass video course on my website that you can watch for free along with a general macro course. In one of my creative slumps last year, I learned how to make my own frames. It's still photography related, but it was exciting learning new skills, and the frames you end up with would cost you a fortune if you were to buy them. If you've never printed your photos before, this can be an excellent way to keep moving your photography forward and remind yourself that you're decent as a photographer. And it's one of the most satisfying things, seeing your work come to life in the physical world. Building a website is also a fun technical exercise that can give your photography a new lease of life. It doesn't even need to be photography related. I had a break over Christmas and spent my time tinkering and making my own home server, including my own search engine, which is very cool. I also now host my own email list for my newsletter, and if you're not signed up for that yet, make sure you do to get all the latest news, videos and information, and you'll also get a copy of my free ebook. I'll put a link down below for that as well. The secret to all of this, and it becomes much easier if you free yourself of the social media algorithms, is to remain optimistic, positive, and free your mind of unnecessary stresses that we can't control. As photographers, this gifts us the opportunity to truly observe our surroundings, find the interesting subjects, and tell their stories to the world. Please do check out my website and consider supporting the channel or sign up to the newsletter. Or you can click here to watch me get roasted by another photographer, or click here to see the latest video. I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.